Joining us now is Ken Dilanian, intelligence and national security reporter for NBC News. Ken, what are we learning about this arsenal? The numbers have been updated tonight about just how much weaponry this shooter had.
That's right, Lawrence. The authorities have now updated it to 42 guns in total that Stephen Paddock allegedly purchased, including 23 that they seized in the hotel room and 19 in a separate house. And, you know, just stepping back, we've learned a lot of new facts today about Stephen Paddock, and much of what we've learned is utterly confounding. Because while there is no one pattern of mass shooters, things that we're learning about Stephen Paddock are completely different from anything that's come before. Starting with the fact that, according to his family, he's wealthy. He may be worth as much as $2 million. They say he's been making his living as a professional gambler. He's a college graduate. He's had jobs as an auditor. He was living in a retirement community with his Asian American girlfriend, who he may have met at a casino. So, and there's no known criminal record, no known extremist beliefs. Obviously, we're missing a big chunk here, which is what authorities are going to find on his computers and what he was up to. But we know that he was living a life much more high functioning than many mass shooters we see. And he sort of brought a level of diabolical competence to this act with all these firearms, and also, as Rachel and Chris were saying, the automatic weapons question. We don't know yet whether he acquired a machine gun, because you can purchase a machine gun legally in Nevada if you register a pre-1986 machine gun. Machine guns have been banned since 1986, but there are some that are grandfathered in. Secondly, you can get a semi-automatic weapon and modify it using things that you can purchase over the internet for as little as $50. We don't know yet whether he did either of those things, but almost every expert we talked to today said there was clearly automatic weapons fire in that recording, and clearly that was a key factor in the number of casualties here, just the amount of bullets this man was able to rain down on the crowd. So a high-functioning, competent, potentially wealthy person here, gambling. We know he was transacting tens of thousands of dollars because of cash reports that casinos were filing that the FBI had seen. But the key questions we don't understand are his state of mind, Lawrence.
And Ken, for those of us who don't own any guns, these numbers sound extraordinary. But for collectors and gun dealers, someone who I've talked to, gun dealers, they say they deal with people who collect dozens of guns that they never use in any sort of dangerous way, and most of the guns they never use at all. They're things that they just have kind of on display and they never even bring to the range.
You're absolutely right. That is a great point. But his brother said in an interview today that Stephen Paddock was not a gun collector that he knew of. He knew him to have a couple of handguns, but not any real experience with long guns, no military experience. So it does raise a question of whether he assembled this arsenal purely for this act. And, you know, that his wealth comes into play here because, you know, these guns can cost hundreds or more than $1,000. And if he had 42 guns in total, you know, it required a lot of financial resources to put that arsenal together, leaving aside the ammunition and other factors.
Ken, how helpful is the federal component of this investigation?
Well, it's crucial, Lawrence. I mean, in this kind of situation, the federal government pulls out all the stops. And this is a man who lived in multiple states and has relatives around the country, and the FBI has been interviewing them and trying to put together a picture of what may have led this man to do it. The mystery here, obviously, is not necessarily what happened and how it happened. That's pretty obvious. The mystery is why. And I would say a secondary issue is what gun laws are implicated here with the automatic weapons issue. Did he acquire a machine gun either legally or illegally? Did he modify a semi-automatic weapon either legally or illegally? That's going to be a crucial public policy question going forward, Lawrence.
And Ken, going forward, what is your sense of a timetable here? What do you think we'll know by the end of this week, by the end of next week?
Well, you know, you and I were both watching that news conference, the last one that authorities just had, and they conducted a search of a property that the suspect had near Reno. And you'll notice they didn't answer any questions about what they found there. They were specifically asked, you know, what did you find on his computers that shed light on motive? They were a little coy, and it suggested to me that they know some things that they're not prepared to say tonight, but that in the next day or maybe 2 days, we're going to learn a lot more about what was driving this man.
Ken Delaney, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lawrence.